Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boxing Unlimited here once again today. And today we're going to talk about the upcoming fight that is going to happen tomorrow in London, Tottenham, London, between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. It's happening in the middleweight division actually. Both boxers have weight issues here, so to say the least. And Conor Benn is going to move up two weight division from welterweight to middleweight to make the 160 pounds. And the question we're asking, is it going to be a problem for him? You know, we've seen Kell Brook do the same thing when he fought Gennady Golovkin, and we know the consequences. We have to be honest with you. That's why we're asking this question. Is Conor Benn making a mistake moving up two weight division to face Chris Eubank Jr.? It's really a problem because on the other hand, Chris Eubank is going to come down from 168 pounds to on the day, and the rehydration clause as well follows the IBF eliminator fight, because they're fighting under the IBF titles. Is not going to add up more than 10 pounds on the morning of the fight. Is it going to be a problem? That is the question we're asking here in this video that we're making. And again, it's Conor Benn, is he making the same mistake Kell Brook made against Golovkin? And we know the consequences, I will say before. Let us revive that talk a little bit and talk about Kell Brook. Kell Brook was undefeated when he fought Golovkin. He was the IBF welterweight champion, and then he had just beaten we know him, Sean Porter, who is whoever fights him, whoever beats him with a bloody nose, as we said before in other of our videos that we're making. And Kell Brook was able to go to America and took the title off him in a majority decision. It was a tug of war for him, a very good fight. He fought on the day, and he's been fighting that way all through until he decided under Eddie Hearn again. Bear this in mind, his promoter, Kell Brook's promoter, was Eddie Hearn, and he moved up two-weight division to fight GGG. And at the end of the day, he really got damaged because he had an eye socket problem, orbit problem, and then he never recovered from it, because in his next fight against Errol Spence, he got stopped in the 11th round due to injury on that surgically repaired eye. So we're asking this question because there's a reason for weight divisions in boxing, but you have to be. We've seen now that some boxers move two weight division and still won, and Terence Crawford is going to do the same thing against Canelo Everest. So it's not as if it's not been done. We've seen Michael Spence come from light heavyweight to win the heavyweight division. We've seen countless of people have done that. We've seen Vic Tiger move up from middleweight to light heavyweight and won Torres and won the light heavyweight title and defended it against him. And then he lost against Bob Foster for the first knockout in his career. He was knocked out in round 4. So weight divisions has a significance, so to say the least, when you're fighting. But in this fight proper, there are so many questions that are born. Is Conor Benn moving up a mistake, or is the rehydration clause going to level everything? Because now Eubank will have to come down from 168 pounds and make the weight, and on the day of the fight, he will not add more than 10 pounds. And the Conor Benn, on the other hand, is coming up. People have argued that he has advantage over that because in his last 3 fights or 2 fights or so, he had fought people at the 154 division. Will that help him, fight in the 160 division? Physically, Eubank has an advantage. The advantage is in height, in weight, and in everything. He's rich, and so on. But on the other hand, Ben will have advantage coming up on the weight because he's coming up to 160. He's not going to have issues coming down on the weight. And then all these weight issues actually affect the stamina of a boxer at the end of the day, especially towards the tail end of the fight. And again, Conor Benn has demanded that the size of the ring will have to be 18 inches by 18, which will not allow Eubank to move around much. So it might have to be a brawl in the middle of the ring. So two of them have to be this fight. As well, saying all these things, we believe that this fight is going to be explosive. It's caught the attention of the world worldwide, and especially in England, where it's happening, especially in London, in Tottenham Stadium. Let us see what is going to happen in this fight. But the questions were asking, will the weight favor Eubank or Benn? We do not know until the day of the fight, because we've seen what happened to Eubank when Liam Smith knocked him down, and knocked him out in their fight. He was still coming down on weight, on 72 pounds, 160 pounds, And then we saw his fight with Zaramenta. He had, and then the rematch with Smith as well was something else. So we do not know what is going to happen, but we're just telling you that we believe Conor Benn is making a mistake moving up two-weight division to fight Eubank, because on the day of the fight, Eubank is the bigger man, is the stronger man. Eubank at 5'11", and Conor Benn at 5'8", and the reach advantage as well is going to favor Eubank. But the problem Eubank will have on the day is weight. If the fight goes more than 6 rounds, how is he going to cope? That is the big question now. And will the pressure and power of Benn be significant in this fight? Benn is coming up in weight. We've seen his fights with people, boxers on the 150 pounds. We saw how he went. It wasn't easy for him. He rather struggled to, take a decision of those boxers. Is he going to struggle with Eubank? And will the youth of Benn be a problem for Eubank? Benn attacks you. If he comes from down from the inside, attacks the body of Eubank and slow him down, and then make his legs weak, he has a chance of not finishing him before the end of the round of the first stanza of the fight. Sorry, if you can win, if you can put pressure on Eubank, who probably had his best punch is uppercut, and then who is going to attack Benn on the uppercut side and make Benn uncomfortable and probably knock his head back and knock him down. That will be a defeat against Benn. But Benn, as we know, is a hard man, just like his father. People have questioned the fact that Benn is a smaller guy, but it doesn't matter because he will work on the inside, work on the body, and then come to the head. Eubank also has weapons to counter that movement, and that weapons is the timing. Take a step back and come out with a good uppercut, right uppercut. We've seen Eubank do that, and we've seen him knock people out like that. And the experience of Eubank be an issue here, because for all and sundry, for everybody to hear, Benn is fought. I think the biggest guy he's beaten before is Chris Ajere, who probably, was 37 years, was on the tail end of his career when he beat him. But that notwithstanding, we've seen that Eubank, on the other hand, has had so many wars. Saunders, Billy Joe Saunders, George Groves, The Girl, so many of them, So experience-wise, I believe Eubank has an advantage, but will he capitalize? That is the question. Because losing weight actually weakens the boxer. He weakens his punches, and he weakens him to stay long in the fight. If with the level of pressure that Benn comes with, and the power in his punches, will he carry it over to the middleweight division where they are fighting? We will see, but we will tell you in no particular order who is going to have advantage in this fight or who will win this fight from our own perspective, because we are looking at this fight from our own view of what these fighters are, because coming down in weight sometimes, worries a boxer, but for Benn, I think it's not going to be a problem if Benn attacks the body of Eubank from beginning, and for Eubank, on the other hand, will have to counter with uppercuts and the hooks, because Benn is fast, he's got speed, he's got momentum at the moment, he's undefeated at the moment, no blemish. Eubank, on the other hand, has had 3 defeats, one to the Groves, the other one to Saunders, and then the third one he was knocked out, by was a TKO actually, by Liam Smith. He cited elbow and weight issues on that fight, but those are excuses you make when you're fighting. We're looking at this fight, and we think it's going to be a blast of a fight. Even though it's a grudge match, it's also a bragging right match as well. Because this family has been a war the fathers has met before in 1990, and we're talking about legends in the boxing, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. We know how they fought, we know how it ended and everything. Will this one end in the same way for one family or the other way for the other family? That is the question we're asking. Our time is up here. Do please subscribe with the channel and help the channel grow. And do have a nice day, and God bless. Bye.